You know every process on your team. You've trained 2 new hires this year. When your manager needs something done right, no supervision, no follow-up. They say your name. 3 years of clean delivery, maybe 4. And you are waiting, not demanding, not complaining, just waiting, because you believe the work will eventually speak loud enough. It won't, not the way you think. The more indispensable you become, the more expensive you are to move. The company has understood how to use that dynamic since before your first week, and the mechanism runs quietly. At every level, in every industry, on every team where someone decides to be excellent and expects that excellence to be rewarded. Here is how the replacement cost mechanism actually works, and the exact counterintuitive move you must make tomorrow morning to break out of it. Most people treat promotion as a performance question. Work consistently enough, deliver reliably enough, and leadership eventually notices. That is the story every performance review reinforces. It is not how promotions are decided. Promotion is a replacement question. Before your name enters a succession conversation, the first calculation is not, can this person handle the next role? It is, can we absorb losing them in the current one? When you become the person a team cannot function without, promoting you creates a problem. Your manager has deliverables due. Their team depends on your institutional knowledge. Pulling you up means posting the role, running a hiring cycle, training a replacement. That takes 90 days at minimum in any functional organization. During those 90 days, your manager owns the gap. The path of least resistance is to give you more work. So they do. Your competence, the thing you spent years building, becomes the ceiling. Not because leadership doesn't see it, because they do. And they need it exactly where it is. Organizations do not promote their most reliable people first. They promote the people who are easiest to replace. Here is what that looks like inside a real team. Kevin is a logistics coordinator at a warehouse company in Houston. 3 years in, he knows every route, every vendor relationship, every edge case in the supply chain. When 2 colleagues left the company within weeks of each other, Kevin absorbed their responsibilities without complaint. He figured performance like that would be visible. 2 years later, Kevin is still a logistics coordinator. In that time, he received 2 performance reviews. Both came back above expectations. Both said critical asset to the team. He got a raise each time. And the work of 3 people became his new baseline. The outside hire they brought in had 6 months on the job. Kevin walked him through every system in his first 2 weeks. Here is what happened institutionally. When 2 people left, leadership needed a fast solution. Promoting Kevin would have created a 3rd vacancy on top of the 2 they were already managing. Leaving Kevin in place cost nothing. He complied without complaint. His reliability solved the company's problem, and the company had no urgency left to solve his. Organizations run on labels. The longer you stay excellent at one thing, the more rigidly you get categorized as that thing. Kevin became the logistics guy, not a trajectory, a function, a reliable output. Narrative is what your manager says about you when you are not in the room. It is the language attached to your name when a role opens 2 levels up. Narrative is built through visibility, through being mentioned in strategic conversations, through making your wins legible to people who don't witness them directly. Think about the last time you had a real conversation with your manager's manager. Not a project update, not a meeting you were both in, a direct conversation about where you are going. For most people, that conversation has never happened. That is not a scheduling problem. That is a narrative problem. If you have spent 3 years being quietly excellent, you have built data. You have not built narrative. The performance review captures the data. The hallway conversation determines the future. Here is the move that works. It feels backwards. Most people in Kevin's position work harder, take on more, and wait longer. The move is the opposite. Make yourself easier to replace. Not harder, easier. Document your processes. Turn the institutional knowledge you've accumulated into something another person could follow without you in the room. Not because you're giving away your leverage, because you are removing the replacement cost argument. The moment your manager can picture promoting you without the team losing its structural support, the conversation becomes possible. Until then, your indispensability is the obstacle. Kevin spent 2 weeks after that realization doing exactly this. Every route documented, every vendor contact written down, every edge case he had memorized, transferred to a shared folder, not because anyone asked, because he finally understood what had been keeping him in place. The second move, build narrative before you need it. After your next significant project, send 3 sentences to your manager. What happened? what your specific contribution was, what you are focused on developing next, not a brag, a record. You are constructing the language your manager will use about you in the conversation you are not in. The third move is the one most people delay until it costs them years. Christine spent 6 years at a marketing firm in Dallas. She was the person everyone called when campaigns fell apart. She had built the same indispensability Kevin had built. The difference is what she did next. She documented her workflows. She joined a cross-departmental task force outside her immediate function, and she had a direct conversation with her VP about where she wanted to go. The director title came 4 months later. Not from her company, from a competitor whose hiring manager had heard her name from Christine's own VP in a conversation she knew nothing about. That is narrative working. That is what replaces waiting. You did everything a reliable employee is supposed to do. You showed up. You solved the problems no one else wanted. You made the organization easier to run. None of that was wrong. It was incomplete. The company will not move you for execution alone. It never said it would. It will continue to optimize for its own operational stability until you make it more expensive to leave you where you are than to move you up. The trap was never that you were too good at your job. The trap was believing that good was the whole strategy.